This is Pure Vincy on Sweet Radio SVG, and we are continuing with our 9 Mornings series on Sweet Radio SVG. Today, I have the honor of speaking to Sebastian Bassy Alexander, well-known cultural icon in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And it is a joy and an honor to be able to welcome you, Bassy, to Sweet Radio SVG.
Thank you. You sound sweet, man. I'm honored. Especially to speak on 9 Morning. I know a little bit. I've done here 80 years and I know 70 years and 9 Morning.
Congratulations, Bassy. Well, I'm hoping to get as much of that rich 70-year experience as you can offer me today. One of the things that you said to me earlier is that 9 Mornings is rooted in Christian traditions. And I think that is in itself a little controversial, because I remember reading somewhere, I think Doc Adams had said that he believes it probably has its roots in African traditions, because for Africans, whenever there was a big celebration, it had to be outdoors, there had to be drumming, there had to be a ritual cleansing, which I guess was equivalent to the sea bathing, and of course food. But now you're saying, no, it's rooted probably in Christian traditions. Explain that to me.
I would not challenge Doc Kirby on the festival, but I don't.
Doc Adams.
Doc Adams. It wouldn't be called Novena. It's an African festival. Novena is a Christian festival. It's a Catholic festival, and it's 9 days celebration. So celebration of praise. Novena could be anything. You can have a novena for Christmas, which is 9 days of praying, and novena for Easter. They have novena for the saints. If you have a problem, like St. Vincent has a problem now, COVID and dengue and storm and all that, volcano eruption, we should have a novena. 9 days of prayer. And I figured we can double it up and multitask it for Christmas, have a 9 day. The Catholics do it in prayer and fasting. And right now they've developed it. It used to be just pray, serve their communion and so on. They're now having a cultural package after. No, I'm not Catholic, but I'm close to them. The story is that Catholics had it. Dr. Fraser seemed to think so too. Very early in the early 20th century, they introduced it to St. Vincent. This service, the early morning, 5 o'clock mass or 4 o'clock mass. And it is felt that the people, they say the slaves used to follow the master, but Dr. Fraser doesn't think so. He said there was no room for slaves in church, and they wouldn't allow them to walk the street. But the locals in the villages would have seen the Catholics, this is an assumption, seen the Catholics holding the service, and then after they walked, they took to walking, and there was always serenading. All right? The walking followed musicians, boom drum and string band. The boom drum celebrated in serenading in the villages, and they would move into the town early morning. No, when I was a boy, it used to be as early as 4 o'clock, you would have drumming, string band on the street, playing up and down. But Kingston was residential. All along back street and middle street, people lived upstairs, owned the building, lived upstairs, and run the business downstairs. So they complained that there was too much noise. So they put a ban on the noise. So we couldn't go on the street until 6 o'clock.
Oh, yeah. Bells will be ringing the sad, sad news. Oh, what a Christmas to have the blues. My baby's gone. I have no friends to wish me greetings once again. Choirs will be singing Silent Night, Christmas carols by candlelight. Please come home for Christmas. Please come home for Christmas. If not for Christmas, by New Year's night. Friends and relations send salutations, sure as the stars shine above. But this is Christmas, yeah, Christmas, my dear. It's the time of year to be with the one you love. So won't you tell me you never more roam? Christmas and New Year will find you home. There'll be no more sorrow, no grief and pain, and I'll be happy, happy once again. Oh yeah, yeah. There'll be no more sorrow, no grief and pain, and I'll be happy, happy once again. Friends and relations send salutations, sure as the stars shine above. But this is Christmas, yeah, Christmas, my dear. It's the time of year to be with the one you love. So won't you tell me you never more roam? Christmas and New Year will find you at home. There'll be no more sorrow, no grief and pain, and I'll be happy, happy once again. There'll be no more sorrow, no grief and pain, and I'll be happy, happy once again. There'll be no more sorrow, no grief and pain, no, no, and I'll be happy. It's Christmas once again. There'll be no more sorrow, no grief and pain, and I'll be happy. It's Christmas once again. Yeah.
Our night morning on the street. I go back to the late 40s, 1940s. I know about going down to town to walk. Just walk. And as little as I was, there was always a girl that I saw that used to come to walk. And I would walk behind, a group of us from the village would walk behind these girls. I don't want to call the name, but we'd walk up down from down the bridge on the hospital there up to back the Seventh Adventist. Back down, we behind the girls in front. And nobody speaking to each other. We just walking. And we saying, Cleo, look, Bassy. Cleo, look, Stephen. And that was a lime. But in between those streets, you had about 3 or 4 bakeries. And there were 5 bread, which is now $1 something, was for 8 cents. So everybody will bring a penny and you get a bread. And this is the bread for the fresh for breakfast. So they'll bake like 4 o'clock in the morning. And you go by the door by the bakery and you call, you want 8 cents bread or I want penny bread? And they would bring it, and the baker would bring the stick that he takes to take out the butter, salt butter, yellow butter. And he say, open your bread, and you tear the bread open.
Ooh.
And he just dab the hot bread, dab the butter in the hot bread, and the oil would run in your hand and you lick it off, you know? And that was our breakfast, you know? Plus it would always be orange and so on. But one of the attraction was window shopping, walking along the street and the show windows. The stores took a lot of pride in displaying the whatever products. Distinctly, the biggest stores would sell toys and so on, and they attract the children. But people like Hadley Brothers, where NCB Bank is now, they sold agricultural implements. And we used to look out for to see what they would do. They would have a Santa Claus in a water boots with a wheelbarrow, with a hoe, a fork, a shovel, cutlass, and you know, just an image of Santa. They just stand up there with the wheelbarrow in his hand, and we go down and we look and we look, Santa, you got boots and this, and then you go higher, you see Santa Claus sharing out gifts, and then you go higher, you see Santa Claus, they move Santa Claus, you could dance and whine and so on. So we look forward to the window shopping, and then excuse me, I would say in the late 40s, I was told that it's in the middle 40s, they took to apart from the drumming, boom, drum and string man, people start using the metal, the hubs for the wheels, and make noise with that, make rhythm with it. And that, no melody, just play that up and down the tongue. So it was really a noisy situation. Then the steel band from Trinidad came, like in 1948, whatever it was, a Trinidad band came.
So the first steel band that we had in 9 Mornings was actually from Trinidad and Tobago.
I'm not too clear on this. They came up, and I don't know if they stayed for the Christmas or they left the bands. They just bought the band. But the first steel band we had that played a tune was a band from Trinidad. Crusaders are one of those bands, that was the name. And the locals caught on. We couldn't play good, but they played some kind of music. So we had steel band on the street for 9 Morning in the late 40s and early 50s. By then, you had bands in Kingston, bands up Long Wall, up street there, one in Middle Street, two in Middle Street, one in Montrose, one in Siren Hill. And these bands used to come out and play just like Carnival. And they would have band clash. The band from Montrose would come up and the band from Siren Hill would be coming down. And they would square off as they go to fight, and they'd beat and noise in the crowd. The Siren Hill crowd shouting, and the Montrose crowd shouting, and no fighting, just shouting and noise. As you see, wait, we're going on, you wonder where they're going to pelt blows. And then when they're tired, argue, they just move, the band just move on. All you run, all you afraid, all you run, and they go up the road and you go down the road. 9 Morning was really, it's an impromptu. People did everything for 9 Morning, anything funny, you know, kick a ball in the street. And for some reason, some people got the bright idea. The musicians got the fellas who played brass bands, thought they could use the place for dances. So you have dances hall on Kittels and Calico, Peace Memorial Hall, the YWCA, a little building down where CW Prescott is now. There would be a shilling fed, 24 cents to go inside. And people go there from 2 o'clock, where I live here at Morris Village. I could hear the songs. The way Clico building used to be a club. 3 floors. And people used to go down and just stay up. When we walk in, we couldn't go because they didn't allow children. And you're telling people on the 3rd floor, you could hear the noise and you could see the building shaking. Peace money going, peace money floor, bouncing and overcrowded. And people wet. And then the band would stop at 6 o'clock and then they come out in the street and they want to jump. It was like a carnival, 9 Morning, people look.
So Bassy, it was Christmas time.
Yes.
What music were people fetting to then?
Calypso. Because if we didn't have any parang, and the only tune we had was Drink Your Rum on a Christmas Morning, Drink Your Rum, Kitchen a Song, you know? That and and another one. Those are the only Christmas songs. Jingle Bell, Ding Bang 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 Bang. Just that or any other thing like that. But we didn't study Christmas carol. No, you can't play anything else but Christmas music at Christmas. But it was a carnival ambience, environment, atmosphere, whatever you
we bite up my mama barata. Coro, una la la, mamacita. You pull out your curry and you give him in a hurry, cause you didn't want nobody to see. Una la la, mamacita. I get you cooking barata for Santa. You pull out your Vera and you make Santa bite and you feed him some hot barata. Ooh la la la, mama, yeah. So hurry, mama, bring out some curry, cause it's Christmas time in this country. She pushing it up. The fire get hot, and the curry was boiling in the pot. The biter by mamacita, the biter by mama barata. Goro, ooh la la, mamacita. You pull out your curry and you give him in a hurry, cause you didn't want nobody to see. Ooh la la, mamacita. I get you cooking barata for Santa. You pull out your Vera and you make Santa bite and you give him some hot barata. Ooh la la, mamacita. I get you cooking barata for Santa. So hurry, mama, bring out some curry, cause it's Christmas time in this country. It was time to share up the curry, so she come with the dal and the goatee. She swizzle, she swizzle up the dal with the goatee. We bite up, my mamacita. We bite up, my mama barata. Goro, ooh la la, mamacita. You pull out your curry and you give him in a hurry, cause you didn't want nobody to see. Ooh la la, mamacita. I get you cooking barata for Santa. You pull out your Vera and you make Santa bite and you feed him some hot barata. Ooh la la, mama, yeah. So hurry, mama, bring out some curry, cause it's Christmas time in this country. Get you cooking barata for Santa. So while he wrote it hot, she went and bung it up, and they start calling it bust up shot. I get you cooking barata for Santa. So while he wrote it hot, she of shots. I catch a cooking parata for Santa. So when the roti hot, she went up on it up and they start calling it bus of shots. I catch a cooking parata for Santa. So when the roti hot, she went up on it up and they start calling it bus of shots.
Back then, Bassy, what was the favorite part of 9 Mornings for you? What did you look forward to most?
It's a package, eh? You try to see who can get up the earliest. So you live in a village, and in the village, everybody live on either side of the street. And some of us, some who couldn't wake up, they'll tie a string on their foot, on their toe, and they throw the string over the window because they don't want their parents to hear you call, Bassy, Bassy. And then they pull the string, pull. And then it will wake me up and I slip out the house. I hope it will slip out the house. And then when we hit the street, we talk from Maurice Village till we reach the town. And no bands on the road and later. And then we walk up and down. You do the same thing every morning. You walk up and down and somebody would kick a ball or kick a, if you make a cigarette pack, you kick that. But the feature of the early part of the 9 Morning was the creativity of the bicycles. The fellas who had bikes and skills used to put lights on the bike. The bikes operated, the lights operated from a dynamo that generated current, not batteries. But that is as good as a battery, like a generator. A small gadget that run on the wheels, generate, so revolve and throw off a current. And the fellas would decorate those bikes. And they would have a Christmas tree on the handlebar, a Christmas tree in the back. The whole frame would be strung with lights. Some fellas even put lights around them, around the body, the hat. They got blinkers and so on. And you would see we're still like up at the post office. And somebody said, look them coming. And from post office, you can look down towards the market and you see them coming up. A long string of lights. 30, 40 bicycles with lights riding around the town. And then when we see them up at the post office and they pass, we run down the big street now by the Lima to see them when they're coming down. And the fellas did well.
Do you remember any of the people, any of the cyclists?
Yeah, one of the guys was from my village, a fella Joyet. And there was a guy named Reed from Portland. He was a chemist. I don't think he finished primary school, but he made bombs for Carnival. And when they played military bands for Carnival, they actually made guns using bamboo. But he was able to crush whatever ingredients you need to make an explosion. And he made that. When they come around the park, they would flee the bomb. You would hear them coming down. We're in the Victoria Park and hear them coming down. Boom, 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 boom. And one year, O'Neill Barrow was on stage. You probably remember O'Neill Barrow, the name. O'Neill Barrow and Maliata, they were the MCs. And the fellas came stateside with their bomb, with their tank, you know. And they fire off a bomb. And they look away piece of the stage. They had something in that bomb. They look away piece of the stage. They say, we have to put a curfew on these bombs.
Yes.
But he was a good, and he used to do a lot of wiring and that sort of stuff. But they were the outstanding ones. And, okay, I mean, there's a guy, Ledlow from Portsmouth. Portsmouth had talent.
Ledlow.
He was a Ledlow. Portsmouth had talent, real talent, football, all that sort of stuff. But they were good. And I'm jumping it to tell you how the period, that was like in the 1950s. In the 1990s, when El Grupo Amistad reintroduced the 9 Morning, we tried to get a bicycle on the street to show the folks what it was like. And there was this teacher guy at the technical college, his name is Vincy. And he was good at all these things, running wires and so on. And we gave him lights and money to put on a bike to come down. We asked him how many lights you had. He said 300 lights on that bike. and he came down. And we announced, and oh, the bicycle is coming down, the bike is coming, and this and that. And he drove through the crowd, and everybody asking, where the bike? Where the lights? You see, in those days, Kingston wasn't as lit as it is now. So it was kind of dark, except for the store lights and so on, not very many street lights.
So it didn't have the same impact.
In effect, and the bulbs in the early days were bigger bulbs. These bulbs now are these fine little Christmas tree bulbs. So no matter how much you put inside in a light, you just see like some little dots, little labels going on the road, and that kill it right there. That kill it right. The only thing we come to it with is to ask the bike riders to come one morning and just ride around, you know, but no lights.
Hey baby, I'm getting so excited about Christmas this year. I have a wish list, you see, babes. And at the top of my wish list, love is all I want from you this Christmas. Love is all I want from you, my dear. Gift of love, the only gift I want from you this Christmas. A gift that would last throughout the year. A gift that would last for many years. Well. This is such a special time. Let's leave our troubles all behind. Enjoy the lights everywhere looking bright. Let's gather around the Christmas tree with our friends and family. It's Christmas time, exchanging gifts, hugs and smiles. Well. Love is all I want from you this Christmas. Love is all I want from you, my dear. Gift of love, the only gift I want from you this Christmas. A gift that would last throughout the year. A gift that would last for many years. Well. Love is so inspiring, so much joy it can bring to all mankind. Just let your love beacon shine. Other gifts cannot compare. Over time they may disappear, but with a gift of love I'll cherish for many years.
You mentioned the fact that El Grupo Amistad was responsible for reigniting the interest in Nine Mornings in the 90s, which means that there was a period of dormancy. What do you think accounted for that period of dormancy?
It went from the street jump up because the bands, the dance halls, they killed the street jump up. Everybody preferred to go inside and so on, and nobody walked. Kingston was a beach, and everybody would bathe in the beach and so on. And from that, fellas introduced little games. Cycle racing, Sailor Bailey came in with cycle racing in the 80s, I think, the 80s. He had cycle races and slow races, sticking and so on. Patches did his bit, but it gradually went and was replaced by the dances, and then there was no dance. So there was nothing at all. People coming home from Canada and America, England, coming for Nine Morning and nothing happening. So we were functioning for a good 6 or 7 years, and we said we have to do something Christmas, but we can't start Nine Morning because Nine Morning is a big crowd and a big participating, groups and so on. And so we said, we told the ambassador, Venezuelan ambassador, because we were attached to the Venezuelan embassy. We said, we're going to practice at morning. We want your permission to use it outside the embassy. And she said, okay, she was really a good lady, Miriam Fair. She said, I'll make coffee for you. I'll let the guy come down and make coffee and sandwiches for you guys. But you can have it. And she opened the embassy, in front of the embassy. That was generous. And we said we will practice. We made an announcement in the newspaper, in the news. That Grupo Amistad will practice. We didn't say we're going to restart the name. So it's just a practice. We were disappointed. We got down at 4 o'clock and we played till 6 o'clock. Not a soul. I said, what is this? Two persons we saw pass. Erlene Deloy, he was walking with a stick, and Calvin Nichols drove into town and walked. And then the second morning, we saw a few more. And by the 5th morning, Jeff Venner and his youth band decided coming on and Enzimbo Naked Roots. They said, man, we're coming down to join you. And they came. And by Christmas Eve morning, that first year, when the Vincentians came home for the vacation for Christmas, they came down to town and they said, how is it no Nine Morning? What's going on here? They were so happy. And he used to remember him well. He was in Barbados with the development bank, and he brought home his friends from Barbados. He must have told them about what we haven't seen Vincent, not knowing there's nothing. And when he came in, the 2 days, nothing happened. And Christmas Eve morning, when he came down and he saw us, he came up to me, he said, look, what you are doing is good for the country, good for the tourism. And he said, I'm going to donate $200. We didn't get any sponsor. He said, we're going to give you $200 to start for this year. And the check garnered for next year. We started the next. We went heavy demand. We got sponsors, building and loan. Everybody gave us a little 500 and so on. And that second year, RBTT had the Christmas party. You were working there at the time. They had the Christmas party. And Francis Bowman, they went all around the clock. And when they finished, them fellas managed to free just them party men. They wouldn't go home. Somebody tell them they have a little group downtown playing and they have chorale. Everybody joined in by then. And Francis Bowman came down, got in his liquor boy, and he sat down on the steps by the embassy. He said, oh, this is Christmas. He said, Bassy, come in. I said, what happened? He said, you don't have a sponsor. I said, what do you mean? He said, RBT sponsoring you.
Ooh.
I said, serious? He said, you know when charge RBT? I said, you? He said, all right. Put yourself up for $2,000 next year. I said, you're serious?
Wow.
He said, we usually give $2,000 for the road march. He said, but this has more potential than road march. $2,000.
Amazing.
Everybody caught on to it. Stephen joke, 1 year we had a little problem. We didn't get sponsors. John Hahn and I fell out for that. He gave the cultural officer instructions to give us some money. And we didn't get them. We said, we boycotting. And we didn't come 1 year. And Stephen Joker was mad because he brought his friends and he didn't see anything. And we told him, he said, what? He said, come to the lotto. I said, we don't have equipment. He said, man, He gave us gave us money for equipment and sponsorship money and so on. When we went down, we went for interview. He said, I don't want to interview them. He said, I know these people. These people have been doing this thing on their own. Give them what they want.
Wow.
Yeah,
Confidence.
by that time
Who were
we
the
had-
members of the group then?
When the group started, we went down to play for a convent school Christmas concert. And we didn't have good singers. We had about 7 or 8 of us. We couldn't sing so good. But some young girls at the convent, when they heard the drumming, the Venezuelan, the parang drumming, they broke away and started dance and said they joined in this group when they leave school. We forgot about them. They left school the year after. And about 5 of them came on to join with us. Finola Ross was one.
Why didn't I know that? She would have been one who was wailing when the drumming started.
And she was one of our better members. She played the drum, played the accordion, one of the better singers. And then we had two sisters. One is now a nun in the convent. We had voices. Carol used to say, Bassy, you're giving us competition with them voices, you know. When we sang, people used to say, wait, boy, where them girls come from? When we played Spanish music, we had the diction correct. People used to meet us in the street and talk Spanish, and we know Spanish, you know. The professor would teach us the diction and so on. And when we sang, our best experience, you know, was the president of Venezuela, Lucinski, came to St. Vincent, official visit. And the ambassador said, well, the group will have to sing the anthem and play a couple of tunes for the president. And when the president came, he thought it was a showdown because he saw us by the gate and we blocked him. And the ambassador said, hold a while. And when we struck up the anthem, he stood to attention, he looked around. And then we played a parang song. He told his cameraman, he said, I want this tape, I want this tape and shown in Venezuela tonight.
What?
Do you know it was on CNN?
Really?
Yeah, what we did.
What year was this?
What is it? In the 90s, 95 or something like that. I saw the ambassador. They need equipment. Find out for them what instrument they need. And I get Avion Airlines to bring them to Venezuela. They have to come to Caracas.
So the moral of this story is don't wait until you have everything lined up. Make a start. And once you put your best foot forward, more than likely something is going to happen.
We had such a lovely thing going that one year we had some Cuban doctors came in. Dougie Slate and Dexter Rose and so on. They went to school in Cuba and they brought in about 12. The government brought in about 12 Cuban nurses. And they brought them over the night morning, like 4 o'clock. And when those Venezuelan nurses, they had a couple of male in them, when they saw what's going on, they were spellbound. They don't have that in Cuba. They have culture, they have music, they have dance, they have concert, but not at 4 in the morning. And they look on, you can hear them and see them. And then we invite them to come on stage. And they came and they sang Guantanamero. And the crowd went crazy for them. And then we say, we have food for you, you know. They say, food? They say, what? Dexter Rose tell, we say, we have baked and saltfish. Dexter tell them, back it out. They say, back it out. Yeah, they came back and so on. We had a good thing going here. People look forward to us, man.
That's fantastic. But remind me, who were the members of the group? You had yourself, you had Pinola Ross.
You have 2 Gould brothers. They're faithful boys. They play this string instrument. You had Justin De Silva. He also played guitar. We had 2 singers, Calypsonia and Jessica and Marco. We had Keon Beach to play guitar. Funny enough, we had a young lady who used to play the maracas, Lavon Joseph. She used to work at Coates. When Lavon, she's married to Butu Charles. When Lavon played the maracas, the Venezuela say, bueno, she good. But we learned it from them, We learned it and so on. They came in, they played it. One time there's a battleship here, Man of War, and we were invited to play for the cocktail aboard the boat. And when we went, we looked, so we had oh sorry, I omitted our 2 most valuable players, two sightless people, Tally and Maxine. You know, Tally is a very good guitar. How could I forget Tally? And Maxine, she was a singer. And two policemen who played the drums. And when we went aboard the stage, when we went aboard the boat, the captain looked at the blind guy and he told the sailors, whatever he told them, they came and they took Tally from us. And they carry him by some way. That's how they treat disabled people, eh? Special attention. They took him by a table and we by ourselves and so on. But we had to play a tune. The ambassador told them, well, they play Venezuelan music. They're looking at us with a little bit reservation, you know, where we're going with these quattro and guitar and so on, and drum. And we struck up a very popular tune in Venezuela, but it's old. Nobody sing it. It's like one of our old traditional songs, you know. That kind of, but it was a folk song. It was called Dumbi Dumbi Dumbi. And when we played the Dumbi Dumbi song, and those people, sailors, they love the music. Venezuelans love you if you love the music. When we played it, they start shouting, Dumbi Dumbi! They play Dumbi Dumbi! And they came and then they danced on the ship and we played it. And then we played all the music and they clap us and they say, good, bueno, bueno, you know. That was a
More
And you said that, well, you think that one of the reasons for the dormancy was the fact that it kept evolving and changing, and eventually it moved from the outdoor spectacle to the indoor spectacle. And El Grupo Amistad came in. You did your first thing outside of the embassy, and then it grew from there. How do you think it developed beyond that to what it is today? What were the different steps, would you say?
Okay, we had some tight rules. Those girls were from convent, and we had to protect the Christian integrity and so on principle. So we said we will not have any loud music, so there'll be no loudspeakers. We'll not have any selling of any drinks and so on, and no vulgarity, no vulgar songs, straight Christmas music. And we would open with a mass. First, every morning there'd be a service. A pastor or Methodist minister and the kind of would come and do devotions, and then the group would go into Christmas carol, and then the guests would come and do drama and so on. So every first day, every first morning, we would have the Catholics, and they would come down with the paraphernalia, and they would serve the wines and the bread and so on. But we believed in the blessing. One year we started, we had Father Mike and the Catholics were there, and a fellow was drunk, and he was coming down right outside the Edie Lanes, Fold Bank. And he was cursing somebody. He cursed. And when he reached stage side, and the priest up there, you know, he stand up in front of the priest and he said, "You Catholic," this, and he cursed them. And Father Mike stood up there and faced him and preached. And then the fellow went down, and Father Mike continued to preach loud, you know. And then the fellow came back down, and he cursed again. And he went. Father Mike said, "Bassy, your site is ready for Christmas. I've cleaned it up." We never had an incident, you know. We never had a police. We never had any fighting. No, we had no wrong. We say snacks and so on. People brought bakes and saltfish and fried fish and everything. But we never had a one. Michael would have told you that too. No incident. We try and keep it Christian way.
When you revived it, where were you having the festival?
We started outside the embassy and Battery, opposite the library. But after 3 years, it was too big. And the traffic coming down, so we said we go around to Bay Street. So we went opposite lanes there, by the sidewalk there, by the custom there, by the port. And we had it there, that accommodated the crowd. And
your format at the time was the blessing, the singing, and then you'd have some invited guests who would get involved in the...
Chorale would come down and sing, do the item, you know. We used to like them to come. I used to invite them to come and play ding dong, ding dong, ding dong, you know that song? One year, the first year they came down on the street, I said, "You are not leaving the theater." Leonard, John, and John, I said, "You're not leaving until they play ding dong." They said, "But we ain't practice it." I say, "Play it." When they played it, the tours and them say, "Again, encore, encore."
Bueno.
No, this is English.
I know, but
bueno, okay. But they play that, we don't be good, man. That was it.
And then eventually, you had to put more structure to it, and your committee was formed. What were some of the innovations that you would say your committee was responsible for?
We set the format. We set the format, and they have not changed it. They have not changed it. I think we got money from the government after about 4 years. I went to John Horn one year, he was minister. I said, "Let me tell you something, John Horn. I have in 9 morning, and we don't want a politician. If you want to come, you'll come with chorale and sing, but you're not going up on stage and say anything." And he used to scare. I said, "I see you, you come down and peep on us." He came a morning. I said, "We have the Honorable Annie used to see this morning." And the Salvation Army was doing the devotion. And I called Annie and Dr. Thomas, ENT specialist. I said, "I want 2 politicians. I want to put them in a competition and give them each a Salvation Army kettle." I said, "Go in the crowd and let me see who wins." And look now, when Annie come back, he got a lot of money. I say, He said, you have no easy money here. I hope you carry it all, you know. We thought it was too much for the young ladies. We thought we'd have a bigger committee outside. It was just the group. We did everything. And we raised our own funds, you know. We had barbecue and all them things and paid out appearance fees from whatever money we collected. And then we asked them what to do. This is spread out the committee. So the committee would have about 2 from the group. And we invited Michael Peters, Lennox Bowman, Bamba Providence, and 2 persons from outside of Kingston who were performing, Mespo and somebody else. And we had a nice little committee going. And Mr. Ash came in with his lights. And he enhanced the whole ambience with his lighting up at the tree. And one year we had a problem. There was an election. W. Freitas, who provided song for us. We didn't even have money for song. Everything was voluntary. W. Freitas gave us song music for free, 8 mornings every year. And the year we got money, we said we're going to pay him. There was an election. And you know, Dougie is always on radio ponging and licking up the government and so on. And when he was setting up his music for the opening, a minister, former minister passed by and said, "You, Dougie, you're not performing, you know, you're not playing any music, you know. You're not for this government, we don't want you." So when I went from church, I looking for Dougie for the song, and Mr. Ash said, "Fellow minister, fellow pastor, and he tell Dougie he can't perform, and Dougie gone home, pack the stuff and gone home." So I said, "You're serious?" So I asked the committee, I said, "What are we doing?" They said, "What are we going to do?" I said, "Well, I done with that." I said, "When the kind of politicians come in, I finished with that." And they had a different idea. They went on, but we pulled out. I backed out from there.
What would you say you are most proud of, given your involvement in 9 Mornings, apart from the revival, because that in itself is an enduring legacy. But apart from that, what would you say you're most proud of?
Let me tell you what was our vision. We figured that if you bring people in out of the bed at 4 in the morning, you must have something good to tell them. So we say we serve them coffee, they will get coffee, they get their bush tea, they get their bakes and so on. And then how would you attract visitors to a festival like this? So we said that the idea is that so somebody living in Grenada or Barbados or St. Lucia must be able to book a passage out of Trinidad at 4 in the afternoon, arrive in St. Vincent for about 6, 7 o'clock, head straight to a restaurant or some concert, something in the countryside where they have the light up. Get a taste of that. And when they finish, they don't want to go back to the hotel. They don't want to hotel. They come straight to 9 Morning and they get a breakfast with us. Or they go straight to the stores. The supermarkets will be open, the liquor stores will be open at a special price between 4 and 6 at mornings. Everything will be free, will be like a duty-free shop. So the visitors will come in, do the quick shopping, get a breakfast, bakes and this and bread, food and that, catch a taxi back to the airport and reach back to work in Trinidad for 8 o'clock. That was our vision, that people would come in and who want to spend 2 days, it's even better. You have boat rides for them, you go to the young Falls building and so on. So we thought it was stuff should have been tied into the Christmas and why you should come to St. Vincent for Christmas. Trinidadians came up, Tobagonians came up, you know, a group from Tobago came up and they performed. They wanted to come every morning to perform. I said, we're wrong with that. But it was just a good group.
So it was about creating this tight experience for the visitors. So you experienced as much of St. Vincent and the Grenadines as you could, if in the shortest possible space of time. So if you had 24 hours, we had a 24-hour package. And if you had 48 hours, then we have a 48-hour package. But whatever it was, it would be money well spent when you traveled from wherever.
We sent a team of photographers and they covered us. And people said when they were coming home, they saw the show. So they came from the plane straight to the show.
Wow.
It is growing, you know, it is growing.
Yes.
And politicians didn't know what's going on.
What do you look forward to now about 9 mornings? In the past, it was walking behind the girls and introducing yourselves in the sleigh. What do you look forward to now?
Not introduced and afraid.
No, well, Creole Bassy, that's an introduction.
Yes, yeah. They stamp your intention, not intention. Aspiration. Yes. Seeing what we look forward to now. What do you think now? It's a different set of people now. Different set of people. Michael, after last year, the year before, I thought they were okay because Michael has turned his life over to Christ, and they had Sergeant Nichols. He's a Christian, and the young lady who did the female who did the MC, she was a Christian, and two of them died. They're not there this year. Nichols died, and the young lady who died, who worked at the radio station there.
Yes, Javel.
She was an MC, and she died. So Michael, give him credit for that. He tried his best and kept it clean as best he could. There was no vulgarity and so on. But the projection, the rural areas, they have it too. They have it. And our projection too was to have the bomb drum serenade in again and the string band. I remember I told the Sister Ivy at the convent, at the Catholic school, my children went there, and I told Sister Ivy, if she can get some culture, I will teach the children. And she said, where would I get that? I said, well, we will tackle the Venezuelan ambassador. And the ambassador said, good, there's a Venezuelan company working here. I will get them to the need. And they brought in 12 quattros. So I went and I taught the children down at St. Mary's to play quattro. And they went to music festival and they won gold medal and quattro, you know. When Pat Prescott heard them, he said, Bassy, who are those children? Where they from? Where they Venezuela? I said, no. He said, you're serious? He said, but I have you with them. 3 of those guys in that band. They all were bright students, and the music is great. Monty Mall's son, John Mall.
Yes.
The guy, oh gosh, they're all doing medicine. Augustus and Dr. Morrison, they're all doing medicine. But they played in the quattro. Their first band thing was in that little quattro band by St. Mary's, teaching to play and sing. Every time I meet them, I say, hey, no, don't forget your teacher, you know, I'm the original. They say, yes, teacher, yes. You know? So our idea was to teach the children to play music. If it's a village school and they're playing record and they're playing drum, tell them go and serenade. 5, 6 years, just go and play for the village, go for house doors, get some money or just improve the spirit. But that doesn't exist. They prefer to go down in the 9 morning and look on and, you know, and enjoy that part of it.
What do you think we need to do, Bassy, to be able to, I suppose, incorporate or involve people who don't want to come down to Kingstown anymore for 9 mornings, or maybe people who are not and incentivized to come down to Kingstown because of the direction in which they think the festival is going? How do you think we can get you and, say, my mother and some of the original 9 morning heads back out to enjoy 9 morning?
I don't think Bassy is a fanatic, eh? The church criticizes a lot, and they have a lot of talent. when we started, we get a lot of flack from the church. I remember Pastor Daniel saying, I said, Pastor Daniel, you wouldn't come down and give me a service some morning. You see, man, I hear you all having some carrying on down there. I'm disappointed in you. I said, but you ain't come down yet. He said, I said, come down. If you're vexed, I will apologize to you. He came down and Pope, Pastor Pope, Bishop Pope of Pentecostal, very lively fellow from Tobago. He had a Mason choir. He had a dance troupe. His children did dancing. He had singers and steel band. And he came in the morning. And when Daniel came down, I didn't even know he came. I saw him coming backstage. I said, hey, good to see you. He said, good to see you. He said, which morning you want me? Serious? He said, man, I like this. So the church shouldn't let us pull them out. They, especially now with COVID, they have the whole environment for 9 morning. The Catholics do it. They have the spacing, they have the service, and at the end of the service, the mass, at the end of the mass, they have the cultural package with the young people and so on. I think all these Pentecostal with the gospel fest and this and that, they can have 9 morning in the church. There are people who are not going to church, and there are people who go to church who will not come to the 9 morning. So you give them an option. You're a church person, come and sit down in church, come and sing Joy to the World, come sing hear the angels sing, come and read a lesson, and then when you finish, let the young people go in the yard or same in the church, go up and do the dance and so on. I think this year more than ever, we should do a novena, a whole, a national novena festival for Thanksgiving and for healing. the one that I love for the Bowman is don't wait till the 25th.
Mm-hmm.
Enjoy Christmas. I
Okay.
think his wife Andrea wrote that. When Christmas comes around, you can't keep Bowman home.
I know, right?
Going everywhere, we're going to Chateaubriand, going to Beckwith. Even after Christmas, he going visiting sites.
Okay.
So he came up with that song, you know.
Yes.
He go to fancy Bassy boy, Vincy fancy boy, the pretty and like them and so on. So he came up with that song. So I said, your wife get that song out to you. I could hear just telling you, you're going here, going there. You don't wait until the 25th to come say celebrating Christmas with me, you know. That's
When I was a little boy, I looked forward to my toys. On December 25th, that was when I got my gifts. But now that I'm a fully grown man, my Christmases are quite different. No more Santa Claus to depend on, are taking me Christmas up front. Don't wait till the 25th to enjoy Christmas. Don't wait. Don't wait for that day and forget the whole season. Don't wait. Let us celebrate the month. Get up and go night morning. Bring up lots of Christmas cheer. Light up and go caroling. Believe me, I'm telling you, that is one thing you shouldn't do. Don't wait till the 25th to enjoy Christmas. Don't wait. Don't wait for the 25th that we do something. Don't wait. Then we form a little band. Watch out, shop the caravan. Serenading everywhere. Tell them that Christmas is near. Remember what CP sing. It's time to give a little something. Every girl and boy don't have to wait for no toy. They lighting up and they liming. They enjoying the night morning. We celebrating Christmas season. I really hope you get my point. There's so much action in St. Vincent. That's why we celebrate a month. Don't wait till the 25th to enjoy Christmas. Don't wait till the 25th to go night morning. Don't wait. Let we do some sea bathing. Let us go window shopping. Join a concert anywhere. Park Hill, Rosebank or Beckway. There's always plenty to do. Something for me and something for you. Don't wait till the 25th to enjoy Christmas. Don't wait for the 25th that we join the fun. Don't wait. Let we light up a donkey for all the neighbors to see. Joining our competition, crying, laughing of the man. This is a season of fun. I love me steel band and me boom drum. Don't wait till the 25th to enjoy Christmas. Don't wait till the 25th to eat and drink up. Don't wait. Mobby, sorrel, ginger beer, juicy and we high room beer. A man, turkey everywhere. This is the season to share. If these things you can't afford, check your neighbor across the road. Don't wait till the 25th to enjoy Christmas. Don't wait till the 25th. This is we Christmas. Don't wait. The community affair, NBC bringing you cheer. Caroling competition, compose and come sing your song. Or get up early morning, come out in your pajamas and sing. Don't wait till the 25th to enjoy Christmas. Don't wait.
Merry Christmas.